Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me once again for another book review. We are going to go ahead and jump right on into it. And this book is called Walking in My Joy in These Streets by Jennifer Lewis. And this is the lovely cover of the book. Oh, look at her. Them legs are just to die for, don't you think? I love the color. I love the pink, the hot pink against the bright yellow. She is beautiful. This is a beautiful cover. Love it, love it, love it. So let's go ahead and get into this quick review. Okay. So previously read slash listened to Jennifer Lewis's book called The Mother of Black Hollywood. When I read that, I felt like I really got to know her and the things she has gone through in her life. I would suggest getting it for a very good read, just so you can get to know her on a deeper level than what she displays in her acting career. But it's even better if you listen to the audiobook, okay? Because she is the narrator of that and this book, okay? So you get the full Jennifer Lewis experience on the audiobook version. All right. And this book is pretty much a follow up, giving us a glimpse into what Jennifer has gone through since that previous book. This book gives her experiences, thoughts, and feelings on things that have happened since then. Okay. And in true fashion, Jennifer uses her acting skills to give you a riveting listen. Okay. Some of the things discussed in the book are as follows. She touches on President Trump election and commentary about the time of President Trump's presidency and his behavior. She talks about her visit to the White House with President Obama and First Lady Michelle, which was pretty comical. She touched on mental health and poverty. Jennifer talked about her relationship with a man named Tony and DJ. Jennifer talks about her experience during COVID and the death of her mother. Jennifer also mentioned church folks and their behaviors toward her longtime friend Ronnie. Um, and she gives us a glimpse of some experiences that she and Ronnie went through together. Jennifer relays events of the world that have occurred over the last few years, and she gives her um, thoughts, perspective, and insight to those particular events that she mentions. She also paid respect to those lost in the LGBTQ plus club massacre, and those that lost their lives due to police brutality within the last few years. So she definitely pays homage to those persons in a very beautiful way. Jennifer gives us a glimpse of her travels. Some of them are pretty comical. And their impact on her life. She gives her opinions and feelings on events that occurred, um, in her life and that we all witnessed or experienced during the last few years. She gives us her perspective, pearls of wisdom, insight, and encouragement. There is a tidbit mention of Jennifer being approached about a possible Blackish spin-off show. I will admit I have not really followed Blackish or Grownish, and I really don't know if that came to fruition or not. There are some warnings to give. There is an abundance of cursing, okay? And I love a good cursor, okay? And Miss Lewis is that, okay? She knows how to curse, okay? There is also mention of LGBTQ plus commentary and their experiences, and mention of HIV/AIDS and a fraud situation. Woo, that fraud situation. I I wouldn't have thunk it. I think Miss Lewis is such a spitfire and feisty and no nonsense that I just wouldn't have thought it. I just would not have thought she would have been in a predicament like that. But man, look, this woman, look, if you wrong her, it doesn't matter if it takes her years. She gonna get you. Okay? She gonna get you. Okay? So let that be your fair warning. Do not mess with Miss Lewis in these streets. Okay? You may have an issue with Jennifer's opinions on certain topics. But do you think she cares? Hell no. Also, there are no discussion questions in the book. However, this whole book is a conversation piece. I mean, you can take it chapter by chapter and there will be something to talk about. But, I mean, some topics of discussion could be, well, fraud against another person. You know, what would make one commit fraud? So you could discuss that. You could discuss, you know, pretty much how COVID affected you or your loved ones. You can converse about that. You can converse about your travels. Where have you been? What have you seen? And if those travels have had any lasting effects on you, negative or positive. And you can also talk about HIV and AIDS. I think I had said in a previous video that in recent years we really haven't had the same level of push in terms of like commercials and just an abundance of information thrown at us through media and other outlets that AIDS and HIV were the topic. It's kind of almost faded a little bit. It's not as, you know, shoved down your throat at it as it used to be. I mean, at one point it was just all over the place, all of the time. But for some reason now you really don't hear a whole lot about it. So you definitely talk about that. And you can also talk about the church and their perspectives, actions, and behaviors towards those of the LGBTQ plus community. You could also talk about mental health. I know, you know, for the last couple of years, COVID has had everybody kind of just, you know, all over the place with emotions and thoughts and feelings. And you could kind of discuss about how uh, a person with mental health issues cope during that period or didn't cope during that period. There was mention of the the storming of the Capitol that occurred. So there was some commentary about that. So you could definitely talk about what happened in that particular situation and the outcome of um, you know, that peaceful or non-peaceful protests and the lack of really police action to prevent it, really. Yeah, that was really an interesting situation that occurred. So, yeah, talk about that. Obviously, you can always discuss the presidency and what they did or didn't do during their term and all of that good stuff. We definitely had a lot of hot topics when President Donald Trump was serving his term. He is still making headlines. You could talk about poverty and does it push one to make the most of their life and make them stronger so they can withstand what could be a cruel world? Or does poverty beat a person down and they go in the opposite direction? You could definitely talk about that. So those are just a few to kind of get the conversation started. If you read the book, you could definitely dissect it a little bit more if you want to. I truly read it as a follow-up from the previous book. I truly enjoyed the previous book, so I kind of really wanted to know, like, what is she talking about now? I definitely have viewed some of the videos. I love the one with her and Brandy and that in the streets. Like that was like on repeat for a little while. Like that was a good one. Okay. But she does mention some other ones that were created during that time. Jennifer does definitely bring her flair when she narrates this book. So the audio book, I will say, is a must listen. Okay, she's narrating it. Okay, so it can't get no better than that. It is just shy of 7.5 hours long. Jennifer most definitely showed her talent by musical inserts and what I would call poetic verses when narrating this book. This story had me howling with laughter. Like literally, I was on the couch, I had my headphones in, and I was listening to it, and I was just like howling with laughter. And he looks at me like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And I'm like, and he's like, "Ah, you're listening to a book." I'm like, but like out of nowhere, I would just like bust out laughing because I'm sorry, it was hilarious. There are some very hilarious parts in this book. So yeah, it is interesting that the book gives like a career overview. It's like a resume at the back of the book. I mean, it lists all of the things that she has been a part of. And I was like, wow, some of that stuff I had no idea. Um, but it was amazing to see all of the work that she has been involved in. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. So definitely check out that little part in the book because yeah, I didn't know some of that stuff. I was like, wow. I gave this book a 10 out of 10, obviously. I love Jennifer Lewis. She has such range. I mean, but she always brings this like almost I don't want to say a badass attitude, but I mean she just has in the book it definitely has a little bit about how she can like take over a scene. I don't think purposefully, but she's just that powerful that it's like, oh yeah, she took that over. Like, she was not the lead, but she was the lead in that moment because she rocked it. And so, yeah, I really do appreciate her work, appreciate her honesty and her transparency. I think she's pretty pretty real, you know. I like that the most about her. So yeah, I do definitely give it a 10 out of 10. I chuckled, I learned some new things. Definitely gave her perspective. straight shooter, no chasing. And I loved it. I loved it. I can't wait. I was like, what's next? What is she gonna give us next? What shenanigans will she be up to next? So, if you have not read the book, go get it. Learn a little bit more about her. Definitely check out the first one too, because that one really kind of gets the get to know her. This one is definitely a follow up to that. It's more on the lighter side. Um, and so go get it after you read it. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. And if you have already read the book, comment your thoughts. Tell me what you think about Miss Jennifer Lewis. And I can't wait to see what's next in her career. If she writes another book, what's some more juicy, Miss Lewis? Because I know you got some. I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. So thank you so much for tuning in. So go ahead, click the like, share, tell your friends coming over, peruse the previous reviews that are listed. If you're not subscribed, why not? Like, you're going to come back to find out what else I'm going to be talking about. So you might as well subscribe, okay? Might as well. It doesn't cost you anything, at least not on my page, it don't. Thanks for tuning in, and that is it for this round. And as always, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.